Hello there, everybody. It's me. You know, Hazer. I think somebody took umbrage to the fact that I say "it's me, Hazer" at the start of every video. That's just what I say. You know, one of these things. Of course it's me. Of course it's me. I'll say it for you. Yeah, Phase 3 playoffs. They're coming up in 2 days. It's currently Wednesday, 17th. We've got Phase 3 playoffs coming up on Friday. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about it. Talk about the format, talk about the teams qualified, talk about the meta, and talk about what I expect the results to be. I'm going to go through the bracket and give you my predictions, and we'll see how off I was at the end. Probably very, as is usual. But yeah, let's jump into it. Let's jump straight into the action and have a look at the article that they put out, which talks about the playoffs, November 19th to 21st. Single elimination, best of 5 matches all the way through. Same format as Worlds, which doesn't seem to have changed, by the way, sadly. Despite pushing, it seems like the Worlds format will be as originally described. So the same as this. First and second seeds get a bye into the semifinals, and the top 2 teams from this event, alongside a tidy sum of cash, will qualify into the semifinals of the Smite World Championship, as said here. Here are the teams that qualified: Titans, Leviathans, Bolts, Kings, Dragons, Scarabs. So the Warriors and the Valkyries did not make it. And luckily for all of us, the remaining members of the Kings, that's Big Man, Tings, Genetics. It's just those two, isn't it? Big Man, Tings, and Genetics have made it out to North America, and all these games will be played in Studio Online, which is exciting. Cool. So yeah, we've also had a patch since then. Am I going to go through the patch? I'll briefly go through the patch. I'm just going to go to the things that are important. This ban thing is going to be cool. Probably going to play some ranked this evening and play a little bit with the new ban phase, which is interesting. I've seen people go either way with it. Updated God leaderboards formula, but they didn't fix the leaderboards. They didn't fix the actual ranked leaderboards, sadly. We don't care about all of this. We don't care about this. Starter items, we've seen a few adjustments to some starters. I think we might see some Death's Toll for Hunters. We might see Samaro. We might see a bit of Vamp Shroud again. Sigil and Axe will probably be the 2 most bought solo lane starters rather. I think they'll be bought pretty much every game. Lotus Crown price difference maybe makes a little bit of a difference. I don't know. I think it'll still be bought. This is the one that I find interesting. The Book of the Dead changes. So 20% CCR, and it's up from 100 and 120 to power, and now it's 30% of your mana. So it's a third bigger, the Book of the Dead shield, which is a pretty big buff. I think it's quite a long cooldown. If I remember rightly, it's a 90-second cooldown. But I do feel like, from what I've seen of the item and from what I think of the meta, we might be moving into something which might not be a lot of fun for a lot of players. I think we could see mages going a build like Book of Thoth, Breastplate of Valor, Book of the Dead, Reaver, E-Staff, like those 5 items or 4 of those 5 items in some order, and becoming very, very tanky. Which makes you have one less easy to kill target. It makes assassins' jobs pretty difficult in diving. I think it encourages the healer kind of compositions that we've already been seeing. I think we'll probably see, I think Hell will be super popular. I think even Guan got a little bit of a buff. We could see him come in, because it's not just healers in mid that are going to benefit from this build, although they most certainly will. Because the current kind of meta mage build doesn't have a whole lot of pen in it, and if you're a healer, you're not too worried about getting pen, and the percent health damage is going to be cozy alongside all the power you have. But I think that if your mid laner's tankier, it means that you've got more health to play with in fights. It's easier to come out of a fight with all 5 members of your team alive, or with more members of your team alive than the enemy team. Even if you take a lot of damage, you can get out and you can heal back up, and I think that makes sustained comps inherently a little bit stronger. Guan could be strong. I think Hell will definitely be highly prioritized, especially by guys like Shinto and Paul, who were already running it to great effect. So we'll see if that is the case. But that's currently what I'm thinking, is that mage builds will likely go down that route. We have seen a nerf to Foul as well, which might mean that Sol and Ola Run are slightly less prioritized. Let me find it. Here it is, Stone of Foul. Magical power down by 15 and the negations down 6%, which is significant. That is definitely significant nerf. So we will see how that go. Other gods who got a shift. Camazot's got a buff. He was already very, very strong. Layers in particular was piloting him very well. Panatom as well. Had started to look strong on him. I definitely think we'll continue to see him. Xing Chen got buffed, which is interesting. It was already looking pretty good in my opinion. Rong Yu was running that. Rafa was running that as well. I think Xing could well have a strong tournament, and AMC is the other one that I guess is worth touching on. I definitely think AMC with this this Stinger buff could be viable, could be strong. We'll see if he's picked up. I wonder if we'll see a lot of lifesteal on Hunters as well. We were already kind of seeing double lifesteal builds fairly significantly, and it's another way in which you can make your team composition very, very irritating to play against and very hard to take down, as if the Hunter as well, when you dive him, he's got Devos, he's got an Assy proc, and if you try and force him out of the fight, they're able to heal back up. Heal back up using lifesteal as well as any sustain in the team comp. So I'm still expecting to see your Sylvanuses, your Terras, your Guan Yus, your Hells, your Afros, maybe even a little bit of Ra, who knows? Probably not Ra, but maybe. I'm expecting to see sustain right now. This is all speculative, by the way. I don't have any insider info on anything on scrims or anything like that. This is just my reaction to how the meta already looked and the balance change that came through. I think Book of the Dead has maybe power crept a little bit and become strong. Worth noting that we will not be seeing new Bastet and we will not be seeing Kleena at this event. Neither is available. Kleena will be available, I think, for the playoffs, the World's qualification playoffs. I'm not sure what they're called. World's qualifier event, whatever it is. Kleena will be available for that. Bastet, she's not in ranked yet. Normally, gods who get reworks go into ranked 4 weeks after they're changed, and then 2 weeks after that they're available in comp. So Bastet, I think, will be available for SWC. Is that right? Yes. She'll be available for SWC, I imagine. Although we might see, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether that doesn't indeed happen, whether she becomes available and how strong she is at the time. Could be cool. You get to see your first competitive play of Bastet at Worlds. That'd be neat. Maybe Scream will qualify and whip it out and show us what he can do. But anyway, bracket and predictions. I told you the teams that have qualified before. Titans and Leviathan straight to semi-finals. I think the Titans, I don't know, I guess they chose this side of the bracket, did they? Is that how it worked? That's interesting if they chose this side of the bracket. I would have thought they would go for the other side. But Titans are up against either Bolts or Dragons. I'm just going to go through this. I'll zoom in a bit so that hopefully it's a bit more visible for you all. That's good, right? That's good. Here are my predictions for this. It's all best of 5, by the way. Best of 5 all the way through. Dragons versus Bolts in the first round. Two teams who, for me, have slumped pretty hard. Dragons, I think their slump is much more obvious. Like, everybody is saying the Dragons have slumped. People are worried as to, how this team is going to do going into Worlds. There's a lot of talk and chatter about it. I think it's just simply because the core of the Dragons team have been, well, the four of the 5 players on the Dragons have been such a dominant force for the last couple years that they would be expected to perform very, very well. I'm counting Sam as a dominant force as well, even though he was only on that team for a year, but he did win Worlds the year before. Bolts, I think, have much more quietly slumped. I feel like Ven and Lass have gone off the boil, and for me, they were sort of carrying this team. They were crazy good. Haddix, when the solo meta shifted, I feel like he's never been quite at the same heights he was at for sort of phase 1 and maybe the first half of phase 2. When the solo meta shifted, I feel like he fell out of the game a lot. Jake's playing pretty well. Barra's playing pretty well. They're pretty consistent. Jake, I think, is really, really good on Umoja, another healer who I forgot to mention earlier, by the way. But Jake, I think, is a really, really good Umoja, a pretty good Circat. And then after that, I'm kind of like, I don't really know where he's going, and I'm not overly confident in anything else that he's got in the locker. And Dragons, yeah, I don't know. The meta doesn't seem to suit them at all. We'll see if they can figure out how they want to play and play effectively once again in this tournament. For me, I'm going to give this one to the Bolts. I think the Bolts will come through. I think it's a good matchup for them into the Dragons as well. I think they're more capable of dealing with if the Dragons came in with an early game pressure composition and ran the game from the early game. I think the Bolts are one of the more capable teams of dealing with that. And I think they will deal with the Dragons. I think I'm going to give it to them 3-1. 3-1 to the Bolts, and they'll go into the semi-final against the Titans. Bottom half of the bracket, Kings versus Scarabs. This game could be really, really good. Could be really, really good. Will it be, though? I don't know. I'm excited to see the Kings all on land for the first time. Big Man Tings and Genetics both have had... I don't think I can laud them enough for how good they've been this year, considering the circumstances. You look at the other players who are playing from Europe. I mean, Big Man, you've got a couple of comparisons. Zeros and Dardes for him. It's not particularly close between Big Man, Zeros, and Dardes. Big Man has been head and shoulders above each of them. Genetics as well. You can compare him to Neil when he was in Canada, and then you've got Rafa as well, and I think Genetics has been better. He's said himself there's been certain gods who he's not been able to play or not comfortable playing on EU pings, so we'll see what he can bring out now. We'll see if we get to see a bit more of his Umoja. I think he's a very good Umoja player, but hasn't really touched it in the SPL much over the last year. So we'll see if we get to see that come out. But I'm excited to see the Kings. I think the Kings will make... The thing is, the Scarabs, the last time they had a little bit of a break, they came out with these... I love the comps the Scarabs were running recently. I loved the way they were playing with the Hades and stuff like that. It was interesting. It was innovative. It was fantastic. I hope they've got more in the locker. I hope they've got more surprises for us. I hope they've been theory crafting and coming up with new compositions and new ways to play the map up against the Kings. I think the Kings are a team that if you study, you can exploit, personally. Because of the way they play the early game, they're very passive and they go for Scorpions. And I think the Netrioid can be exploited in picks and bans as well, or at least has been historically able to be exploited. So I think a team who does enough research on the Kings could take them down, but we'll see what they've got going into this. I've still got them winning. I'm going to give it to the Kings 3-2. I think we're getting a 5-game set, maybe. That would be interesting. Okay, Titans versus Bolts. I'm finding it really hard to see past the Titans and the Leviathans right now. The Titans and Leviathans, I think, have been easily the top two teams over the last month, 6 weeks, maybe. I think they've been very, very, very strong. Each having a great grasp on the meta, and all of their players playing individually fantastic. So I'm going to give this to the Titans. I'm going to give it to the Titans 3-0, which feels a bit anticlimactic. You never know as well when a team comes into this event and is able to warm into it like the Bolts will be able to here. We'll see if they can turn up against the Titans, but no, I've got the Titans winning this 3-0. I think the meta shift suits them as well. I mean, like Kama getting buffed when it's already Lair's best god. Hell, I think, got an indirect buff for Paul, and so did Afro. I just think it's theirs and the Leviathans to lose right now. Bottom side of the bracket, Leviathans versus Kings. I'm going to give the Kings a game in this one. I'm going to say it's 3-1 the Leviathans. Similar reasoning again. Meta shifts suit them. They're already playing Kama. They're already playing Hell. These are my, I guess, conjecture of the meta shifts. We'll see if it's actually true. Maybe it's going to go a totally different way than I think, but we shall see. yeah, I like Panatom's matchup into Twig as well. I think it's quite a good. I think it's quite a good jungler matchup. I think it'll be interesting to watch. But I like Panatom in that matchup. We shall see how it goes. But I've got the Leviathans taking this over the Kings. I think I like Rongyu's matchup into Variety also. Not Rongyu, sorry, Hardcore. Rongyu's matchup. Maybe Rongyu's going to be ganking solo a lot. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited to see this 3-1 Leviathans over the Kings. And then we get the final of the 2 top seeds. Titans versus Leviathans. Who takes it? I think we could go all 5 games here. We could. I'm going to give it to the Titans in 5. I think it could be a great matchup. I wonder if these 2 teams have been scrimming each other, seeing as they've come into the semifinals. Or if they're scrimming. I don't know how the scrim stuff's working. Maybe Titans are scrimming Kings, Scarabs, and Leviathans. Leviathans are scrimming Bolts, Dragons, and Titans. I'm not sure if any teams have partnered up or anything like that. But I think we could definitely see fireworks in this matchup. But I'm giving it to the Titans 3-2. I think, yeah, I think they're just looking super, super, super clean. I fancy a little watch of that ADC matchup as well. I think Zapman versus Cyclone Spin could be a lot of fun. Interesting picks maybe from Cyclone. Zap going for some Zapulations. I would love to see that. Nothing more hype. Anyway, we're at 16 minutes. I was like, have I even, how long is this video going to be? Short? It's long enough. 16 minutes is more than long enough. I've havered, that's the word I'm looking for. Had a little bit of a script for this one just to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. And I have no idea if I did because I didn't really look at it. Go me. But that's going to be it from me. I'm going to do power rankings tomorrow night. I'm very reticent to do them right now, honestly. I don't feel like I'm confident in my own placings or where I'm putting people. But it'll be fun. It's always fun doing power rankings because the chat, they're so kind and reasonable about everything. So that's going to be great. Look forward to that tomorrow night. That'll be Thursday night. And then I'll be live Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be an hour late on Friday. Game start at 4 UK time. I won't be finished work until 5. So can't be avoided, unfortunately. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the event or something. YouTube stuff. Algorithm. Fight the power. And I'll see you. You'll probably get another YouTube video on Friday, which will be the power rankings VOD. Thanks for watching. Bye.